Well, today we are hearing the final arguments in the murder trial of Larry Miliete. He's accused of killing his wife, Maya. She went missing 5 years ago. Her body has never been found. Larry has denied any involvement in her disappearance. Now it will be up to the jury to decide. We're just hours away from closing argument. This was originally anticipated as a trial to take, about 3 months. Testimony finished in less than 7 weeks. Opening statements in the trial was way back on May 18th. Cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom, so the public's only seen sketches like this of Larry. And for the most part, Miliete has sat quietly next to his lawyers. He's no longer wearing the mask that we saw through most of the early pretrial hearings, but he is wearing a hearing aid. His hair is tied back. One of the biggest moments early in this trial was this. Maya's father, on the first day of testimony, this is file footage of him, Pablito Tabalanza, began yelling at Larry during questioning, shouting, "I loved my daughter very much. Why did you do this?" It was an emotional moment inside the courtroom. We also heard for the first time from one of the spellcasters that Larry communicated with to try and save his marriage. That spellcaster called Larry, quote, sweet, but also said he was obsessive, and he testified that Larry wanted everything fast, calling some of his requests, quote, crazy. ABC 10 News has been covering the trial from the beginning all along. Both Melissa Masiha and reporter Laura Acevedo. Laura spoke with one criminal defense attorney about what comes next.
Criminal defense attorney Tim Scott tells me closing arguments are one of the few times during trial where the attorneys can talk directly to the jurors. In this case, made up of 7 women, 5 men, and the alternates. A trial that took years to get underway is now nearing its end, and Larry Miliete's fate will soon be in the hands of a jury, left to decide if he's guilty of killing his wife, Maya. The prosecution's case lasted 24 days. The defense's case, less than 3 hours.
I'm not surprised that it was a short and sweet case.
Tim Scott is a criminal defense attorney not related to the Miliete case. Larry's defense team had initially said their case would take 4 to 5 days, but it ended up being about 2.5 hours, with just 3 witnesses called to the stand. Scott says that's not really surprising.
When the prosecution just didn't meet their burden, a short or almost non-existent defense case can just be a statement saying they didn't meet their burden.
He also says people shouldn't read into Larry not taking the stand in his own defense.
And it is his right. Nobody has to take the stand to explain why they're innocent. It's the government or the prosecution's burden to show that they're guilty.
Prosecutors say Larry killed his wife Maya and disposed of her body so well that it's never been found. The defense has argued there's no evidence Maya was even murdered and has suggested she could have left the Miliete home on her own and ran away. It'll soon be up to the jury of 12 to decide which case they agree with. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Since Maya went missing, loved ones have made sure she hasn't been forgotten. Recently, supporters held an online prayer vigil for her. Back in January, Maya's family and other community members gathered in Chula Vista for a prayer hike. They've actually done this several times since she's disappeared. But for the first time, we saw her 3 children at this event to support their mom. They sang a song in honor of Maya. We were invited to show the kids, but the family requested that we not interview them, and we honored those wishes. The children were only 4, 7, and 11 years old when Maya vanished in 2021. Dozens of people, including the mayor of Chula Vista, made their way around Mount San Miguel Park. That's the same area where Maya would often go hiking. They wanted to make sure that her story was not forgotten. You can count on us to bring you all of the latest updates on air and online. Both sides will lay out their closing arguments today. Go to 10news.com. You can follow along on our live blog. A critical Senate race is in turmoil this morning as a growing number of Democrats are urging their candidate in Maine to drop out of the race. Grant Plattner faces new allegations of sexual assault, this time from a former girlfriend. Jenny Resicott says Plattner showed up at her home drunk in 2021 and assaulted her. Plattner denies the allegations, but he posted a video online saying he's now reflecting on the best path forward for his campaign. If he drops out by Monday, Democrats have until the 27th to pick a replacement. That could be Maine's current governor, Janet Mills. She would run against Republican incumbent Susan Collins. This is significant because this is the only Senate race in the country where a Republican is up for re-election in a state that Kamala Harris won in 2024. Intense storms are dumping rain all across the Northeast. In Monmouth County, New Jersey, downpours caused the roof of one building to collapse. 2 people were trapped inside, leaving witnesses terrified.
Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And just within 20 feet, extreme tragedy. I maybe wouldn't be standing here right now.
In Chicago and New York, the downpour brought more than a half foot of rain in some areas, forcing several water rescues. It also had a big impact on travel. Airlines delayed or canceled about 9,000 flights yesterday alone. On the West Coast, fire danger is growing as the heat turns back up. Crews battled several fires across San Diego County Monday. The pipeline fire in Camp Pendleton, grew to more than 1,000 acres. A Facebook post from the base says it started near the Edson firing range. This morning, evacuations are still in place for parts of the base. CAL FIRE says containment is still 0% and a smoke advisory is also in place. Crews were busy all across the county Monday. In Chula Vista, one woman was arrested for allegedly starting fires along Highway 54 near Highland Avenue. CHP had to shut down parts of the road. And in San Marcos, a 4-acre brush fire got pretty close to homes near Twin Oaks Valley Road. Crews got a handle on that one within a few hours. No word yet on how it started. America's World Cup dreams fell short on Monday. An ugly 4-1 loss to Belgium. The team made a number of mistakes during the game, the kind they really hadn't had yet in the tournament. A lot of people around the world may see the loss as karma. FIFA made a controversial decision to allow U.S. striker Florin Balogun to play last night. They suspended a red card penalty that he received in last week's game. With the loss, all 3 host countries, the U.S., Canada, Mexico, they're all out of the tournament. San Diego fans, though, packed bars and watch parties to support their teams, and a lot of them say they're still proud of how far the U.S. got.
It shows how good the U.S. soccer has come, and, we're only going to get better. So, next World Cup, we'll be there.
Now, today is the last set of games in the round of 16. Argentina takes on Egypt at 9 o'clock this morning. Switzerland and Colombia play at 1 p.m. Got to be proud of the red, white, and blue. That's everything for your ABC 10 News Streamline. Everything you need to know today in under 10 minutes.